Welcome and thank you for joining us. You are watching Millennium News Hour and I am Tanziba Naureen. Today we have brought top and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines. Biden and Trump agree to debates in late June and September. Biden administration plans to send $1 billion in military aid to Israel. Blinken, guitar in hand, tells Ukraine to keep rocking in the free world. Ship lost power twice before striking Baltimore bridge, probe says. Driver said he smoked pot oil, took medication before Florida crash that killed 8 Mexican workers. RFK Jr. accuses Biden and Trump of colluding to exclude him from debates. A massive U.S. dock to deliver food and other humanitarian aid will reach Gaza tonight. Chicago teen who started college at 10 earns doctoral degree at 17. Netanyahu says he hopes to iron out discord with US but won't budge on Rafah assault. Ex-Pak PM Imran Khan gets bail but can't leave jail. Slovakia PM shot, fighting life-threatening injuries. ICC excited as cricket's newest stadium launched in New York. And Netflix will carry NFL games on Christmas Day for 3 years, including 2 this season. You were listening to Headlines, now news in detail. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump agreed Wednesday to participate in general election debates on June 27 and September 10, ending speculation about whether 2024 general election debates would happen at all. CNN will host the first debate in late June at 9 p.m. at its studios in Atlanta, according to a press release from the news organization. ABC News said it will host the September debate. The matchups between the current and former presidents quickly came about Wednesday after the Biden campaign proposed a new debate schedule ahead of the November 5 general election. To ensure candidates may maximize the time allotted in the debate, no audience will be present. Moderators for the debate and additional details will be announced at a later date, CNN said. The agreement came just hours after Biden challenged Trump to 2 debates hosted in a television studio ahead of the November election, a departure from the traditional system that has been used. Trump quickly responded to that challenge, saying he disagreed with Biden's call to not debate in front of a crowd but accepted the proposed dates and indicated he too was eager to debate. The Biden administration has told Congress that it plans to send a $1 billion package of military aid to Israel, according to media reports, despite the United States' opposition to a full-scale invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza and concerns about rising civilian deaths. The U.S. Department of State on Tuesday moved the package into the congressional review process, Reuters news agency reported, citing two unnamed U.S. officials. The package, which is yet to be approved, includes about $700 million for tank ammunition, $500 million in tactical vehicles, and $60 million in mortar rounds, congressional aides told the Associated Press news agency. The approval request for the transfer of lethal weapons comes a week after President Joe Biden paused a single shipment of bombs because of concerns over Israel's offensive in Rafah, in the southernmost tip of Gaza, from where the United Nations says close to 500,000 displaced people have fled. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on May 14 picked up a red guitar at a basement bar in Kiev with a message for Ukraine that the U.S. and much of the world was fighting not just for Ukraine but for the free world. Blinken, who while in Kiev this week has pledged unwavering U.S. support as Russia has intensified attacks in Ukraine, joined Band 19.99 on stage at Berman Dictate in the capital city. They played Neil Young's Rockin' in the Free World, a rock anthem released in 1989, just before the fall of the Berlin Wall. Your soldiers, your citizens, particularly in the northeast, in Kharkiv, are suffering tremendously. But they need to know, you need to know, the United States is with you. So much of the world is with you, and they are fighting not just for a free Ukraine, but for the free world. And the free world is with you too, Blinken said before playing the song. Blinken watched most of 19.99's set before the lead singer introduced him as a great friend of Ukraine. He then joined them on stage to play the song with the chorus, "Keep on rocking in the free world." The container ship that collided with a major bridge in Baltimore, collapsing it within seconds, suffered two electricity blackouts in the moments before the disaster, a preliminary report by federal investigators released Tuesday said. The Singapore-flagged Delhi also lost power during maintenance twice on the previous day, though the report by the National Transportation Safety Board said it was still probing what impact that may have had. It had been clear that the ship had lost power in the seconds before the stunning collapse, but the report is the first detailed examination of the events leading up to the disaster, which killed 6 construction workers who were making repairs on the bridge and blocked the busy port of Baltimore, a key U.S. hub. In a timeline of the accident, it said the Delhi was just 0.6 miles from the bridge when the electrical breakers that fed most of the ship's equipment and lighting unexpectedly tripped, causing the first blackout. The ship lost propulsion and steering and began to drift off course. The crew managed to restore power briefly, but with the Delhi just 0.2 miles from the bridge, the lights went out again. An emergency generator gave the crew some steering and they made a hard turn to port. But without propulsion, the bridge's fate was sealed. The report also detailed 2 blackouts about 10 hours before leaving Baltimore. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feed. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. A man with a long record of dangerous driving pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to driving under the influence manslaughter in the deaths of 8 Mexican farm workers whose bus was sideswiped by his pickup truck in Central Florida. Dozens more were injured. Brian McLean Howard, 41, remains jailed without bond for Tuesday's crash, where the Florida Highway Patrol says he drove his 2001 Ford pickup into the center line on a 2-lane road and sideswiped a farm worker bus, causing it to veer off the road, strike a tree and flip over. He told a judge by teleconference from jail Wednesday that he is a self-employed painter and drywall installer with $700 in the bank, no other assets and no dependents. Howard's head was bandaged and he wore a protective gown typically given to inmates on suicide watch. The judge denied bond, appointed a public defender and set his next court appearance for next month. According to his arrest report, troopers say Howard had bloodshot and watery eyes and slurred speech after the crash, which he said he didn't remember. He told an FHP investigator that he had crashed his mother's car into a tree a few days earlier while avoiding an animal, and that on Monday night he had smoked marijuana oil and took his prescribed medications before bed, 2 anti-seizure drugs and another for high blood pressure. He woke up about 5 hours later and was driving to a methadone clinic where he receives a daily medication for a chipped vertebra, he said. Howard then failed several sobriety tests and was arrested, the FHP said. Independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump were colluding to exclude him from the debates they agreed to participate in on Wednesday. Biden and Trump said Wednesday that they had accepted invitations for presidential debates hosted by CNN on June 27 and ABC News on September 10. Kennedy would not currently qualify for the CNN debate in Atlanta based on the criteria the network laid out. Stephanie Spear, press secretary for the Kennedy campaign, told NBC News that Kennedy would accept an invitation from CNN to debate Biden and Trump if he qualifies. In a post on X, Kennedy voiced his anger about being excluded from the first general election debate. Presidents Trump and Biden are colluding to lock America into a head-to-head matchup that 70% say they do not want. They are trying to exclude me from their debate because they are afraid I would win. Keeping viable candidates off the debate stage undermines democracy, he said in his post. RFK Jr. has already hit CNN's 15% polling threshold in 2 out of 4 qualifying polls, but the network also announced that participants must appear on a sufficient number of state ballots to reach the 270 electoral vote threshold to win the presidency prior to the eligibility deadline. The US has begun moving a floating dock system for the delivery of critical humanitarian aid into the waters of the Gaza Strip and expects the system to be installed over the next 24 hours. 3 US officials said. The US military began towing the system from the Israeli port of Ashdod, about 20 miles north of Gaza, on Wednesday afternoon. Once it is in place, the officials say delivery of food and other aid could begin in the first 24 to 48 hours after installation. The dock system will be anchored 3 to 5 miles off the coast, and food and other aid will be moved from the dock to a causeway on Gaza's beach, which is expected to be installed overnight. In a statement, a defense official said earlier today, components of the temporary pier that make up our joint logistics over-the-shore capability, along with military vessels involved in its construction, began moving from the port of Ashdod towards Gaza, where it will be anchored to the beach to assist in the delivery of international humanitarian aid. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin gave Central Command Commander General Michael Eric Kurilla permission to move forward with installing the dock known as a JLOTS system on Tuesday, the officials said. Dorothy Jean Tillman II's participation in Arizona State University's May 6 commencement was the latest step on a higher education journey the Chicago teen started when she took her first college course at age 10. In between came associate's, bachelor's, and master's degrees. When Tillman successfully defended her dissertation in December, she became the youngest person at age 17 to earn a doctoral degree in integrated behavioral health at Arizona State. Associate Professor Leslie Manson told ABC's Good Morning America for a Story Monday. It's a wonderful celebration, and we hope that Dorothy Jean inspires more students, Manson said. But this is still something so rare and unique. Tillman, called Dorothy Genius by family and friends, is the granddaughter of former Chicago alderwoman Dorothy Tillman. When most students are just learning to navigate middle school, her mother enrolled Tillman in classes through the College of Lake County in northern Illinois, where she majored in psychology and completed her associate's degree in 2016, according to her biography. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feast. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for global updates. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Wednesday that while he is confident he can iron out mounting discord with the US over Israel's military operations in Rafah, his country would press on and do what we have to do win this war. In a sit-down interview with CNBC's Sarah Eisen in Jerusalem, Netanyahu said his decades-long friendship with President Joe Biden had been laced with disagreements as he acknowledged the White House's growing frustrations with Israel's conduct in Gaza. Yes, we do have a disagreement on Gaza, rather on Rafah, but we have to do what we have to do, he said. Netanyahu, 74, said he was doing everything in my power to minimize these disagreements and maybe even come onto the same page. Would the United States leave an enemy right at its border? He added. The Israeli leader's comments come as Israel faces mounting backlash, including from its closest ally, over its operations in Gaza, where more than 35,000 people have been killed, according to health officials in the enclave. since the war began after Hamas' October 7 attacks. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan was granted bail in Islamabad on Wednesday on land corruption charges, but will have to stay in jail to serve time in 2 other cases, his lawyer said. The former cricket superstar was indicted last week on charges that he and his wife were gifted land by a real estate developer when Khan was Prime Minister from 2018 to 22 in exchange for illegal favors. Khan, who denies wrongdoing, had filed a bail application before Islamabad High Court. His party lawyer, Naeem Haider Panjutta, confirmed the granting of bail on social media platform X, but said Khan remained in custody after 2 convictions, one involving the leaking of state secrets and the other his marriage violating Islamic law. Khan has been in jail since August last year. In total, he has been convicted in 4 cases, but sentences in 2 cases have been suspended. Slovakia Prime Minister Robert Fico was on Wednesday shot multiple times and rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries after a cabinet meeting, officials said, in an attack condemned by EU chiefs. Fico, a populist leader accused of being Kremlin-friendly, has been prime minister since last year. Today, after the government meeting in Handlovo, there was an assassination attempt on the Prime Minister of the Slovak Republic, Robert Fico, the government said in a post on social media. Fico was shot multiple times, said a post on his official Facebook page. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feed. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 18,220.81. The NYSE Composite is increased by 86.86 points or 0.48%. Tokyo stock close price is 38,385.73. The Nikkei 225 index is increased by 29.67 points or 0.08%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,145.77. The Shanghai index is decreased by 2.25 points or 0.07%. Hong Kong stock close price is 19,073.71. The Hang Seng index is decreased by 41.35 points or 0.22%. Bombay stock close price is 73,104.61. The Sensex index is increased by 328.44 48 points or 0.45%. Let's have a look on today's sports stories. The newly built Nassau County International Cricket Stadium near New York was launched on Wednesday, with the sports world body excited to conquer new territories through the T20 World Cup in June. The 34,000 capacity stadium, with infrastructure from the Las Vegas Formula One circuit and drop-in pitches prepared in Florida, will host the hotly anticipated India-Pakistan clash on June 9 among its 8 scheduled World Cup games. The Showpiece 20-over event will be co-hosted by the West Indies and the United States starting June 1, with New York, Florida and Dallas as venues. The International Cricket Council remains happy with the focus on the India-Pakistan clash and the Nassau project as part of bringing the game to the US. Chris Tetley, the ICC's head of events, told reporters in a media roundtable, "We are really excited to bring the T20 World Cup cricket to the US and the opportunity that it presents to the sport, and from what I can see, there is an audience really waiting for us to come." Netflix and the NFL announced a 3-year deal Wednesday to stream games on Christmas Day. The streaming giant will carry 2 games this year and at least 1 game in 2025 and 26. Netflix announced during a presentation to advertisers that it will have defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City at Pittsburgh, followed by Baltimore at Houston. "Last year, we decided to take a big bet on live, tapping into massive fandoms across comedy, reality TV, sports, and more," Bela Bajaria, Netflix's chief content officer, said in a statement. A series on wide receivers will premiere this year. Netflix began airing live sports last year, but there are exhibition events in golf and tennis. It is also slated to air the July 20 bout between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, and next year will start carrying World Wrestling Entertainment's flagship show, Raw. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. Biden and Trump agree to debates in late June and September. Biden administration plans to send $1 billion in military aid to Israel. Blinken, guitar in hand, tells Ukraine to keep rocking in the free world. Ship lost power twice before striking Baltimore bridge, probe says. Driver said he smoked pot oil, took medication before Florida crash that killed 8 Mexican workers. RFK Jr. accuses Biden and Trump of colluding to exclude him from debates. A massive U.S. dock to deliver food and other humanitarian aid will reach Gaza tonight. Chicago teen who started college at 10 earns doctoral degree at 17. Netanyahu says he hopes to iron out discord with US but won't budge on Rafah assault. Ex-Pak PM Imran Khan gets bail but can't leave jail. Slovakia PM shot, fighting life-threatening injuries. ICC excited as cricket's newest stadium launched in New York. And Netflix will carry NFL games on Christmas Day for 3 years, including 2 this season. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jagu TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jagu BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.